I decided to speak out, I decided to tell the truth, and no matter what, freedom is not free. So you guys remember where I'm standing, because this is where
But see, when Ali Carter came back and, also addressed it, now that's just dead. They wanted to believe those phonies. They wanted to believe those fakes. Just like they wanted to believe Courtney Burgess.
What if Ally Carter ends up dead tomorrow? Let's be real for a second. If we woke up tomorrow and saw the headlines saying Ally Carter was found dead, would anyone really be shocked at this point? Honestly? Because with the way things are moving in the entertainment world lately, it's starting to feel less like a mystery and more like something you could see coming a mile away. Ally's been out here dropping serious truth bombs like she's on a mission. And she's not being quiet about it either. She's shouting it loud for anyone who's willing to listen. She's calling out the dark side of the industry, not just the usual gossip and drama. She's talking about twisted rituals, missing kids, and powerful people doing terrifying things behind closed doors. Normally, when people start talking like this, we throw it in the same pile as conspiracy theories, right next to stories about aliens, lizard people, and celebrities being replaced by clones. But here's where it gets real. Jaguar Wright, another artist who's been in the game for years, just backed up everything Ally's been saying. And for those who know Jaguar's history, she's been arrested, dragged through the mud, and nearly erased for saying way less than this.
I never feel bad for people who don't feel bad for anyone other than themselves. These are extreme narcissists.
So when she stands beside Ally and says, "Y'all don't even know how deep this goes," it makes you stop and wonder. Jaguar even said outright, it's not Diddy who's trying to take Ally out. It's someone else. Someone even more dangerous. And when she said that, the internet gasped. People were shook. Because if what they're saying is even halfway true, then what we think is a scandal is just the surface. What's underneath? Pure horror. Ally's not just saying there are shady people in Hollywood. She's claiming that she's being hunted. Not just followed. Not just spied on. Hunted like prey. She says people broke into her home. She showed footage of the mess. She believes they tried to poison her. And she's not just worried for herself anymore, she's terrified for her family, for her loved ones. And whether or not you believe every word she says, the facts are there. Someone did break into her place. Someone did leak her personal info. Her license plate. Her address. That's not paranoia. That's real-life evidence. And why? According to her, it's because she saw something she wasn't supposed to see. Ally claims she witnessed high-level industry people doing things so awful they sound like scenes from a horror movie.
It's funny, everyone else in the world seems to have a more accurate picture of the Carters than Americans do. Way the Daily Mail was just pulling up all those lovely pictures from a very, very young Destiny's Child and a very adult Mr. Carter.
We're not talking about parties or substance abuse. She's saying she saw rituals with chains, animals, and children. She described people bathing in blood, not for drama but for youth, like some sort of anti-aging serum straight out of a nightmare. And here's the part that needs a trigger warning. She says these weren't just teenagers, they were toddlers. 3, 4 years old. Kids who, according to her, were tied up, abused, and filmed. Used for disturbing and disgusting reasons. Then, allegedly, they were murdered in rituals designed to harvest something called adrenochrome, a chemical that's supposedly taken from the blood of terrified victims. Again, it sounds like the plot of a banned Reddit thread. But Ally insists it's real. She says the reason people don't believe her is because the truth is too horrible to accept. And you know what? That idea hits hard. Because sometimes, when something is so evil, so grotesque, our minds just refuse to believe it could be real. Because if it is, then what does that say about the world we live in? Now you might be asking, if all this is going on, where are the news stories? The missing kids? The Amber Alerts? But Ally has a chilling answer to that too. She says the children aren't from around here. According to her, These kids are imported from poorer countries. No birth certificates. No tracking. No one even knows they're missing. That way, they disappear without a trace and no one goes looking.
When I found the episode of Pig Night, then I realized what was going on. And it took me, I have cried myself to sleep so many times this past week. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot. It's a lot to process. It's a lot to process as an adult. To say, this was, still don't even know what words to put to that. I'm still trying to, it's a lot to process as an adult. It's a lot to process that they were called pigs. You can feed a pig anything, pigs will eat.
And when the news dropped about Diddy being hit with those human trafficking charges, a lot of folks thought it was just about drugs and wild parties. But Ally claims there's a darker layer underneath all that, a layer that ties in these rituals and underground practices. Again, allegedly. She even talked about something she called Pig Night. And brace yourself, because this is where it gets really disturbing. She described it as a twisted party thrown by powerful people. Young boys were brought in, some as young as teenagers. They weren't allowed to eat beforehand, not because of nerves, but because the people throwing the party allegedly had a sick fetish. They wanted these boys to get sick during the act, vomiting, having diarrhea. And even worse, if something happened, the boys would be forced to sit in it, eat it, be humiliated, and all of it was filmed. That's not just disturbing. That's monstrous. And Ally didn't talk about it like someone repeating a rumor. She spoke with details, emotion, pain. If she's lying, then she's the greatest actress alive.
But we lost our house. We lost our finances back in December. We're not gonna ask you for money, but I just wanna tell you the truth, because this is how it goes. You get pressured, stalked and hunted down for your own information. You get re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue it back and forth this week like that mattered.
But if she's telling the truth, then everything we think we know about the industry needs to be burned to the ground. Shortly after she dropped all these claims, her house got hit. Not just broken into, ransacked. Flipped upside down like someone was either looking for something or trying to send a clear message, stop talking. Or else. And thankfully, she wasn't home. Because if she had been, we might not be hearing from her ever again. She went live, showing the destruction. Broken glass. Furniture tossed everywhere. It wasn't a robbery. It was a warning. And still, she didn't back down. She said straight up that people connected to certain elite groups leaked her location, her address, her personal details. They made her a target. Not just to scare her, but to take her out. And here's where things get even more heartbreaking. She's not just afraid for herself. She's scared for the people she loves. Her family. Her partner. Her child. Because they didn't choose this. They didn't sign up to be part of a war. But now they're in the crossfire. She said, and I quote, "Y'all took everything. The only thing I care about now is the people I love, and I can't even protect them." Now, whether you think she's exaggerating or not, that doesn't sound like someone chasing clout. That sounds like someone genuinely running for her life. But let's be fair. Let's ask the hard questions. What if this is all a mental health crisis? What if Ally's just dealing with serious trauma, and her brain is trying to make sense of pain in the only way it knows how? We've seen people lose touch with reality before. We've seen trauma twist memories, create paranoia. That happens. But at the same time, what if she's right? What if the reason she sounds so crazy is because the truth is that dark? What if the stories sound made up because the world has worked hard to make sure no one ever believes the truth? Let's not forget people laughed at the whole Epstein situation, too. Until they couldn't laugh anymore. So maybe we need to hold space for both sides. Yes, Ally could be struggling. She could be hurt, mentally overwhelmed, and projecting pain in every direction. But she could also be a whistleblower trying to scream the truth before the system silences her completely. And if that's the case, How many more people need to cry out before we finally listen? Because Ally is not the first. Jaguar Wright said similar things and was nearly destroyed for it. Cat Williams has hinted at this darkness too. And we've seen what happened to people like Britney Spears, Kanye West, and others who tried to speak out before suddenly being labeled as crazy. It's easy to dismiss someone when their story is too awful to imagine. It's easier to say she's losing it than to say, maybe we've all been blind. But history is full of people who were called liars and lunatics until the truth came out years later. So what's the takeaway here? Ally Carter might be struggling. She might be terrified. She might also be trying to survive a world most of us can't even comprehend. Either way, she's in danger. And if something happens to her, no one can say they weren't warned. We have to start listening, not blindly believing, but truly listening. Paying attention. Asking better questions. Because whether it's truth, trauma, or both, something is clearly not okay. And if we keep brushing these women off as crazy, we might be ignoring the very people who are risking everything to wake us up. What do you think? Is Ally Carter being targeted for exposing secrets? Or is she battling demons of her own, shaped by pain and trauma? Is Jaguar Wright proof that truth tellers always get punished? Or is it just noise in an already loud world? Whatever the answer is, don't look away. Don't ignore it just because it's uncomfortable. Because the truth doesn't care whether you believe it or not. Let me know your thoughts. So, at the end of the day, whether you believe everything Ally Carter is saying or not, one thing is clear: something deeper is going on, and it's getting harder to ignore. When people start risking their lives just to speak out, we owe it to them to at least listen. We can't keep calling folks crazy just because the truth makes us uncomfortable. Whether it's trauma, truth, or a mix of both, Ally's story deserves attention. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Ally's really being hunted for exposing secrets? Or is this just a case of someone breaking under pressure? Is Jaguar Wright a whistleblower or part of the chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to know what y'all think. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you found this video eye-opening. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next one, because I promise we're just getting started. Stay safe, stay aware, and never stop asking questions.